1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool, it still sounds a bit bad, doesn't it?
Could I get one more
Sure.
countdown, please? Just from 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great.
Everyone all good?
Yeah?
Thank you.
Thank you for that. G'day, mate. I've got some vision from VPC. Beautiful. Yeah, cool. 3-1. Does there be something that you're not expecting?
No rocks today.
No.
Okay. No rocks.
I guess we better go then.
Any other props?
No props apart from me. Rightio. Detective Inspector Jeff Owen from the Northwest Metro Regional Crime Squad. We're here today to discuss an incident that occurred. The March for Australia protests occurred on the 19th of October last month, where police were confronted by protesters who pelted them with rocks, bottles, broken glass and rotten fruit. The behaviour of the protesters on that day was deplorable, and as a result of those protests and the confrontation, 2 of our members were injured, a female sergeant and a male senior connie. They both required hospitalisation that day. They were taken off to hospital, but luckily... Want me to start? Yeah, fine. You want me to start again? No. All right. As a result of that protest, 2 of our members are injured, a female sergeant and a male senior connie. They required hospitalisation that day and time off from work. Luckily, they're back at work. So what we've got at the moment is we're releasing footage and stills of 8 persons of interest to this investigation. So far, 1 person has been charged, a 24-year-old male from Corio. He's been charged with assault police and conduct endangering serious injury. He's been bailed to appear at a court at a later date. His activity was directly related to allegedly stone throwing in that protest. The stones were thrown with such force they ended up cracking some of the shields that some of the port members had. That was the ferocity and the velocity of the stones. The behaviour is deplorable. We're seeking those persons who appear in today's releases to come forward, make arrangements with the local police station. Those who may know them, contact Crime Stoppers, 1800 333 000. You can do that anonymously or just speak to your local police. The information will flow down to our investigative office. Melbourne should be a vibrant place, welcoming. Instead, we have protesters every week creating unrest and impacting community safety. Victoria Police supports a peaceful protest, but we're sick and tired of protesters using their protests as a mechanism to be antagonistic towards police. No, that's it.
These people that you're hoping to identify, do you think they came there with the intention of throwing rocks? I mean, you can kind of see in the
The rocks we've seen appear to be ballast. You don't find ballast rocks around the Melbourne CBD on the streets. So our belief is they intentionally brought them there.
And do you believe it was a counter-protest group that was responsible?
I don't want to delve into the politics behind it. From Victoria Police's point of view, they were just protesters trying to assault police.
The 24-year-old who has been arrested and charged, do you have any belief that he might know these 8 others, and has he been cooperating with police?
He's been interviewed by police. He faces court. I don't know what knowledge he has of the other protesters.
With that one, you know, you've charged him, great, but he's been bailed. How frustrating is that for you?
Victoria Police's job is to put in front of the court the alleged perpetrator with enough evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Police have done the job that the community expects us to do. What happens then is up to the courts.
The rocks, you said, that's had quite a bit of force behind them and cracked some shields, injured someone's hand. I mean, how much worse could it have been if it had hit an officer, say, in the face or elsewhere?
I think that's pretty self-evident. You get hit in the head with a rock up to death.
Your 2 members who have been injured, you know, how are they? I know that one still has to go through rehab and stuff like that. How are they feeling?
Both members were taken to hospital on the day, and they're back at duty at the moment, but one of the members requires ongoing rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation. Sorry, I'll start that one again. 2 members are injured on the day. They were both taken to hospital, received treatment. They're both back at work at the moment. However, one of the members requires ongoing rehabilitation for the injury they received.
It sounds as though these people are obviously, whatever, regardless of the protest or the message that they're trying to get out, they're resorting to violence. Would you sort of, I guess, say that this flies in the face or doesn't really serve any of their messages well?
I think their antagonistic behaviour towards police, the community are not accepting it. It's a change of paradigm. Police support peaceful protests, but not for the point where they come up and just want to use the protest as a mechanism to have a crack at police, discharge missiles at police. We're seeing more violence in the protest environment.
Are you seeing more, I guess, I'll paraphrase you, the word hatred towards police at these protests, or more dissatisfaction with protesters to police?
We're seeing more aggression focused on police as a byproduct of these protests.
So with a lot of the people that you're hoping to identify are wearing masks, which obviously makes your job very difficult. Do you think this new Victorian legislation that's just come through this week, does it go far enough with mask wearing protests?
So as far as legislation and proposed legislation, I'm not privy to those conversations. It's outside of my remit, and I really sort of can't, not appropriate for me to comment on legislation.
Are you confident that if you will be able to tell someone to remove their masks at a protest if they're behaving violently like this?
We'll use whatever legislation is in force at the particular time. We'll use that to the extent.
But is that
we can.
possible to do if someone's throwing rocks at members?
Well, if they're throwing rocks at members, we're after their behaviour. If we can arrest them, the mask is beside the point.
Yeah, but I guess how are you going to be able to arrest them if you can't identify them, I guess is my point.
Look, we have different investigative avenues. One of these is here today asking for the public to come forth and provide information on us.
Do you think that there should be more of a blanket ban on masks at protests?
Again, I'm not part of the legislation discussion, so it's outside my remit.
Separately, the government's today been spruiking legislation that could see people who encourage youth offenders to commit crimes liable for offences themselves, and therefore the sentencing sort of is being boosted to life in prison as an option for those offenders. Is this a problem that you're seeing a lot of?
Look, way outside my remit. I'm here for 8 persons of interest to this investigation, not around legislation.
And looping back to those, you've sort of indicated that there was a level of premeditation in the way that the rocks came from outside the city, that they were piled in certain areas. Do you think, is there any suspicion that the people that you're seeking to identify came to the city with the intention of causing trouble rather than peacefully protest, that they might be troublemakers that came here to sow that kind of like violence and aggression?
I think it's fair to infer that when you bring bags of rocks into the CBD and access those rocks and use those rocks to throw at police, there's certainly a degree of premeditation about what their intention is.
So just back on the youth justice things, regardless of the legislation, is older people recruiting younger people to commit crimes something that you hear of or see a lot throughout Victoria?
Look, I'm not prepared to go outside what I'm here for today in regards to just this investigation, the March for Australia.
Are you, I'm not sure if you're involved in the operational aspects of the protests, but following that one in October, are members feeling a little bit less willing to go to these protests to protect the community, or how do you think members are feeling?
Well, the community are losing their local police because those local police are being redeployed into the city to respond to the protest environment. So those two members who got injured, one come from Corio, one come from the other side of Melbourne. So that's impacting the local policing response to those areas. You're losing police for those areas to come in here and do policing, responding to protests. If those protests were peaceful going about, we wouldn't put demands on the members from across the state. We're losing significant resources right across the state for protest response.
There's been some concerns from those involved with the counter-protest on this date that you're discussing, that there was some use of capsicum spray by police that they deem was unnecessary. What would you say to that in terms of their argument for how things unfolded?
The amount of media scrutiny, the footage, the body-worn camera, I think it's pretty much self-evident where the aggravation and antagonism came from. Police responded appropriately and they continue to respond appropriately in those circumstances. Well done.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
Cheers.